All right, everybody. We are bringing the show to you in a much different way on this Saturday. Of course, it is the last Saturday in the month of January 2021. And how are you? Again, we're bringing that to you via Zoom. I'm so excited. Been trying to work this thing out, and I think, by gosh, I think we have it, although we are kind of getting off to a rough start. But again, how are you all doing on this day? Of course, I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited about trying something different. I've been, when I say we, I mean, people who have been giving me ideas and kind of coaching me along on this journey with the video and the YouTube channel. And so I've been sitting on it for a minute. I think I may have done one or two in the past, meaning presenting the show to you via Zoom and YouTube. So we're going to give it a shot, see how things go. I'm happy to have you on board. Of course, we have a great show in store for you. And by the way, how was your week? How did things turn out for you this week? I hope it was a good week. Of course, a lot has been happening in the news. I heard that we were on high security alert again, and that there's potential in the coming months, weeks for a terrorist attack. So, of course, it seems that 2021 is getting off to an interesting start, to say the least. Well, around here, you all, they're talking about snow. Yeah, we got here in the Chicagoland area, depending on where you live, we got anywhere from 2 to, I believe, close to 6 inches of snow earlier in the week. And starting this evening, we're supposed to get up to 9 inches of snow, again, depending on where you live in the Chicagoland area overnight, starting this evening. So it's going to be interesting to see if we actually get it. Now, I have to say, when you take into account winters in Chicago, this has been a fairly easy winter for us all. We do still have March and February to get through. So hopefully we'll still continue to have this mild weather. All right, so our cafe talk today, we're going to have a special guest who's going to be on the show to hopefully encourage you, inspire you as he shares his aspirational story. It's so good, and I can't wait for that. That's going to be coming up later on in the show. For now, though, let's get into the coronavirus update. By the way, this coronavirus has affected some 219 countries and territories worldwide. And currently, as of this morning, we have more than 102 million COVID-19 cases globally, and more than 2.2 million deaths have been reported. Here in the United States, we still have the most cases, reporting just under 26 million confirmed cases as of this morning, and more than 438,000 deaths. So we'll continue to watch that. It seems like the recovery rate of the recovery numbers are pretty good, and the number of deaths are slowly declining. It may have something to do with overall herd immunity. It could have something to do with the vaccinations that are in place, as well as, a lot of countries and areas, like here in the United States, is still practicing those lockdown phases, right? So all of those things, I'm sure. And of course, with us all walking around with our mask and social distancing and all of that good stuff. So, I think, we're things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. I just get concerned when I hear the reports that, Some areas are opening back up. They're allowing businesses or restaurants or clubs or whatever to take in, a few more people. Um, but at the same time, you're hearing reports of, estimated 100,000 more deaths in the next few weeks or month. So it's sort of conflicting. If you're anticipating those deaths, it seems like maybe we should try to prevent it and continue to stay locked up, right? I mean, limiting our movement and sociability. Anyway, I digress. We'll continue to follow that though and see how things develop. Now, in business news, of course, President Biden announced on Friday that he's willing to move ahead with his nearly $2 trillion economic bill without the support of the Republicans who are, criticizing the bill as they have been doing all along. And so the Democrats have the power, so they can do it. They can move forward without them. Now, of course, the bill includes much more needed emergency pandemic relief. And, some are trying to get standalone bills pushed through so that they can just address those issues. And others are, including the president, wants the whole package to just be passed as one effort. So we'll continue to stay on top of this and see how things develop. The United States Labor Department has reported that 847,000 Americans filed for new unemployment benefits in the last week. Not so bad as the week before and the week prior, right? But still not a good number. The Small Business Development Administration announced an updated information site for individuals who may be interested in finding out more about the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant. That's a program that is Section 324 of the Economic Aid and Hard-Hit Small Businesses, Nonprofits, and Venues Act. In short, it's called the Economic Aid Act, and it was signed into law on December 27th, 2020. So there's some new help out there, everybody. And if you go to sba.gov, you can just, do a search for the Economic Aid Act to get that updated information, or I will put the link in the YouTube comment section once this video is posted. So make sure that you read about that if you own a venue of some sort, or you have a not-for-profit, or you think that you just might be qualified for this particular bill. All right, and there was an interesting piece that was written in the New York Times. I'm not going to spend a whole lot on it, but it just talked about how well, it was based on a piece written by professors from Rutgers University, and the piece was entitled "The Black Hole at the Heart of the Eviction Crises." And, this has been a problem, during this pandemic time as well, people facing evictions and homelessness and all of that. Anyway, it just kind of talked about how 1/3 of the United States counties have no publicly available annual eviction figures, which are numbers that you really need to kind of determine what kind of help people require out there, right? And so they're calling for the Biden and Harris administration to create a nationwide eviction database to help track and address evictions and housing insecurity. I think this is genius. And of course, they're saying that the data set would digitize eviction data collected by courts during the eviction process and then make it publicly available, but public personal information about individuals who've been evicted will not be available, okay? So it'll just be data that a lot of these agencies, organizations, not-for-profits, even government needs to determine how to address housing instability, especially in these pandemic times. All right. So I just wanted to share that. I thought it was so interesting. Getting back to other business news, General Motors has committed, I should say, to an emissions-free future by announcing that it would stop selling gas and diesel-powered vehicles by 2035. So yes, at some point, gas and diesel will no longer be needed. Now, this is just General Motors. I'm not sure where the other automakers are in this goal, but this was their recent announcement. Now, Toyota did announce that they are celebrating the fact that they are now, once again, the top-selling automaker in the United States. They recently passed Volkswagen in vehicle sales in the year of 2020. All right, and so as you guys know, Americans have endured a lot in the past year during this pandemic. Of course, the pandemic itself, social isolation, social distancing, historic unemployment, racial and political unrest, the lack of toilet tissue, or at least the scare of having a lack of toilet tissue, wearing masks, my goodness, and of course, the children being at home all day long, some partners, significant others, spouses being at home all day long. And, you know, on a more serious note, some have lost loved ones. Some have even faced the potential of homelessness for the first times in their lives. And let's not even talk about the exhausting election and everything else that followed. My goodness, it's been a rough 2020, as we all know, has been pretty rough. Well, as a result, many have turned to drinking liquor. Yeah. And so here's a report that says that the overall United States liquor sales rose 24% from March 2020 to mid-December 2020. And specifically, it looks like wine, beer, wine and beer sales rose. Now, wine sales increased 17%, while beer sales increased 13%, respectively. But it appears that people are more interested in the hard stuff to get through these rough times. I tell you, it's been quite a ride. Now, let's look at the stock market really quick. And, as of the close on Friday, January 29, 2021, Reddit traders and other smaller novice investors continue to disrupt Wall Street titans and hedge funds. GameStop, of course, bounced back nearly 70% from yesterday, or Thursday, I should say, and the Robinhood fiasco. And we're not even going to get into that. That's a whole segment within itself, but some very interesting things happening in the world of trading and investing in the stock market. And nevertheless, let's take a look at the Dow. The Dow was down yesterday at the close of the bill, a negative 2.03% to 29,982.62 points. The S&P 500 was down a negative 1.93% to 3,714.24 points, and the NASDAQ was down a negative 2% to 13,070.69 points. Now gold is up $9.40 to 1,847.30 per ounce, and oil dipped slightly 14 cents to 45. My goodness, I'm a little frazzled because of all that's going on, but oil dipped slightly 14 cents to $52.20 per barrel. And that brings us to our entertainment news report. I failed to mention this last Saturday, and so I'm saying it now, and you already know. Legendary broadcaster Larry King passed away last weekend. And of course, we've all heard the news about the iconic actress Cicely Tyson, who passed away on Thursday. Of course, tributes are pouring in from all around the world for both of them. And of course, we send our condolences and prayers to friends, family, and loved ones of them both. All right, folks, now remember tonight on Lifetime, it's the Wendy Williams movie. And based on all the clips that I've been saying, it's going to be good. And immediately following the movie, there will be a William Williams documentary that's entitled What a Mess. So it should be good. A lot of people that I know are planning on tuning in. And of course, we know that there has been this rift happening publicly between herself and her brother, Tommy. And she has been on her show addressing it with no shame at all. So it's kind of building up the drama leading up to the movie tonight on Lifetime and the documentary. And so maybe we'll chat about it next time we're on the show. All right. So I think he is on. We're going to do this. He will officially be the first guest on Marilyn's Cafe Society Zoom meeting. And so let's get him on. Rocky, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
Super. Now, what I did not tell you, Rocky, is that you are the experiment. You are the first via Zoom for my show. So congratulations.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm honored to be the first one.
I'm so glad you're here. And by the way, you look wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Making me smile like this early in the morning.
Yes. So we're going to talk about the good stuff, Rocky, first. And then we're going to get into everything else. And of course, I teased this segment. It's our Cafe Talk segment. And I shared with our listeners that I would be speaking with a special guest who will be an inspiration to them just for life in general, for work goals, and even business. And of course, you're going to do this by sharing your aspirational story. And first of all, I just want to introduce you as the successful Indian business-born person that you are. You're born in New York City and currently living in Los Angeles. And of course, you own several businesses, but you run a showroom in a high traffic area of downtown near LA. And of course, you recently upgraded to Beverly Hills. You are loved. You have seen love, as you've written. And of course, most importantly, you love yourself. You have amazing friends and a family and almost every continent in the world. And your business has afforded you the opportunity to travel freely and meet all of these amazing people around the planet. You've learned to speak 4 languages. You hold conversation with any man, woman, or child in the world. Listen, I even talk to babies. And of course,
Babies and animals too.
Yes. And of course, you follow your heart. You allow yourself to be vulnerable to meeting new loving people who exist all around the world. You grow business for yourself and you help others grow their business. That's the amazing part. And, we could just go on and on and on and on and on. But Rocky, again, I just want to thank you to Marilyn's Cafe Society. We've been trying to make this happen. And finally, here we are. And thank goodness it's face-to-face almost.
Almost is good enough. It's good enough as we can get right now, I guess, right?
That's it. That's it. So you found yourself at a point in life, Rocky, where some things had to be changed and turn around for you. And of course, in the introduction, you sound like almost like a silver spoon was handed to you in life, but that is not the case.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I've actually kind of had this conversation before too about the silver spoon, because people on the outside kind of looking at me just see like, oh, you know, Indian kid, you know, dresses nice, son of a doctor, you know, he looks like he can speak well. He must have just, you know, had it always. And you know, my father, you know, was, you know, better well off when we were growing up. But I did get, you know, many blessings. I got to see a great side of life. But I also had a very opposite and stark contrast side that I got. And you know, a lot of it was due to just mainly choices and decisions I was making back then. You
Mhm.
know, I like to say that we do the best we can do with what we have at that time. Back then, like mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, that's just what I had, and that's what I was kind of putting out. But you know, as a kid, you know, from 11 to 18, I went to over 9 different facilities and boot camps, institutions around the world. Many of these have closed now for child abuse, you know, rape, torture, and things like that. One of them in particular, Paris Hilton, just did a documentary on, and finally, you know, there's a lot of media and news around it, and people actually finding out what's happening because it's still going on. These schools, man, I was in bed at my parents' house at 1 o'clock in the morning. I got woken up with my ankles cuffed and my hands cuffed and escorted all the way across the country, you know, by 2 big guys. I remember they were so tall, they had to turn off the fans in my bedroom to be able to take me there. You know, these schools, like I faced everything from extreme neglect to physical to sexual abuse. And I mean, my stories that I have from there are not even as like, you know, they don't shock me as much compared to like some of the people I know. We call each other survivors now because we weren't allowed to be in touch. We weren't allowed to have any contact with the outside world, or each other when we were there. So we all found each other, you know, thanks to Facebook, in the last couple of years. But, you know, these schools, once you get there, your clothes are ripped off, your head is shaved, you're sleeping on the ground for 10 days, you're woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning to walk outside and count in the rain. You're laying on the ground in dirty areas constantly for no reason. You're being pushed and pulled and kicked and grabbed and screamed at constantly. You know, your food is very low quality and low calorie, not much food either. Anything you do is like a punishment, basically. Anything, you can get in trouble for anything, and the punishments are severe. The severest one I had when I was 11, I had a fever and I was sick and crying, 11 or 12. And I got picked up from the chair that I was in for punishment, thrown into a wall behind me, kicked down a hallway, and then I had my feet and my hands tied behind my back with my chin on the ground for, it felt like 5 days, 10 days, but it was probably only a couple days. It just felt like forever. Because when I finally stood up, my entire body like spasmed. I had like muscle spasms because like,
Mhm.
you know, cramps from sitting still so long.
Mhm.
But yeah, I went to those facilities and then boot camps, all growing up between my teen years. Like I said, 9 different ones, from military school to boot camp to state schools. You know, did a couple of jails as well when I was in my teen years. When I
Rocky,
finally graduated,
let me
go ahead.
interrupt
I was
you.
just getting started. Go ahead.
Yeah. Was this all taking place here in the United States?
Unfortunately, yeah, these businesses and these schools that are, you know, they're for-profit businesses, that are all operational within the U.S. And not only that, they have very close links and ties to presidential campaigns, you know, from the years past. And those campaigns and those presidents and those laws that come into effect stop the kids and the children from having more rights, to stop being sent to these places and to get out of these places when they do find themselves in those situations.
Oh my God. So there was no recourse. Your parents couldn't fight for you. There was just no hope.
Well, in the beginning, so these schools are very manipulative. You have to understand, like they put like your kid will be on jet skis in the beach with like the best doctors and the best food and this and that. And it's all, you know, my school lied so much that my high school diploma is actually fake. They were not allowed to give me a high school diploma, and they did anyway. They weren't accredited. They were like lying to the state. And that's the depth of it. So my parents didn't know. When I got out of my first one, you know, the parents don't know anything. I told them what was happening a little bit, and you know, I was one of those kids that talked back a lot, very hyperactive, you know, very like I want to see my friends. They thought I was just manipulating and like trying to lie about it. But I even told them like I remember the conversation I had. I think I was talking to my dad, and I was trying to tell him that I was asleep in the middle of the night, and I woke up with like nothing. I don't know if like I don't think anything actually happened to me like that, but I woke up with my shorts like down to my knees, and I smelled beer. And I just remember that smelling beer and my shorts being down. That's like the only memory
Oh,
I have. And I remember looking at them and them kind of being like, no, like, this didn't, like, don't exaggerate. And then I remember then I was like, I'm just not going to ever talk about it anymore because no one's going to believe me anyway, because it happened in another country that I was sent to in Mexico, you know, as a kid, for surrounded by bad kids. So they expect us to lie. So
oh,
yeah, that's the point. Like the schools are very manipulative and they're not forthcoming. And you can look these up online, like WWASP, Provo Canyon, Casa by the Sea, Agape. And the craziest part is they're right now, there's kids sitting there right now in these schools,
oh
like
my
today as we speak.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, I heard that one of the executive orders that the president recently signed had something to do with these for-profit um, prisons and holding places. They're cutting off funds or something. So, perhaps that's a start to getting this situation, this horrific, traumatizing situation eradicated. This must have had a horrible effect on your psyche.
Yes, and I mean, unfortunately, I mean, as I was going to say earlier, like when I got out of that life and I moved into being 17 and starting college, um, that the effect that it had on me was so subconscious that the actions, the decisions I was making were leading me down a very dangerous path. And a quick 2 to 3 years later, maybe four, I wound myself up with a felony, distribution of controlled substances, vis-a-vis cocaine, for selling, and wound up in the Alabama State Prison, that, took over the next, 7 years of my life. And then even, what's crazy is like when that's one thing like I talk about a lot is our identities and the way we, see ourselves and who we think we are. Sometimes those things get so built in that literally nothing can stop them. So overcoming them and changing them, in my opinion, really takes like not something happening to you like prison or near death, because for me, neither of those things changed me. It was literally just like an outside energy, like a spiritual awakening, just randomly on a Wednesday afternoon type of thing came into me. For me, it was November 4th, 2012 or 13, when I made the decision to leave the people I was selling dope with, my girlfriends at the time, my party friends, my house, my cars, my clothes, my music, my TV, everything, and go to India and just start over. For me, that was kind of like the moment. And I had a lot of ups and downs since then. I didn't just make it perfect after that. But that was the first time I actually consciously said, you know what? I don't have to be a dope boy. I don't got to be a playboy. I don't have to be a party animal. I don't have to be all these things I think I am and that, my friends seem to love about me. There's more out there probably. I just got to take the leap of faith, and go see what it is. And that was when I started back then. And, 6, 7 years later, I'm blessed to say that ups and downs, struggles, literally in the bathroom crying, like to like even going to a low of like having a divorce from my ex-wife and being in bathrooms in Hollywood again, doing drugs and just really, really bad times the last couple of years, to finally like evening it all out, getting beyond it, incorporating a couple really important things as far as like, prayer, meditation, yoga, eating clean, kind of keeping myself away from a lot of things. I've been able to kind of get to the place I am now. And I still, like I said, have days where I kind of backtrack a bit, where I don't do as good as I can, but I've learned over time that the healing and growing is a journey and a dance versus a race. So I kind of have to be kind of like gentle and careful with the way I get there, and I'm learning that it's a process and the magic is the journey, the way there, and to really enjoy it the way there. The ups and the downs, like the tears and the laughs, you kind of have to enjoy them both and learn from them both on the way there.
Yes, I was going to say, based on what I read and what you've just shared, Rocky, it sounds like, that you've come from one of the lowest of lows in terms of where a person can be in life. And you just answered the question, I'm thinking to myself, what or how in the world were you able to pull yourself up and turn things around? And you just shared that there was a lot of prayer, a decision, and followed by a lot of prayer. And you're now incorporating meditation, daily meditation, and and just making better choices in terms of your food and things that you put in your system. Is there anything else, Rocky, that you think kind of helped you turn around? What, for example, what was it that made you decide that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
So from the entrepreneur side, like I've since a kid, like I was that kid that was selling candy at school, selling baseball cards, selling lemonade stands on the corner of our street, cutting people's grass. In fact, when I was like maybe like 10 or 11 or maybe 12 or something, I don't remember. My dad got me a go-kart when I was home, like for fun for Christmas. And I took the go-kart and built a like little thing behind it where I could carry my like lawn mowing stuff. So I could like go around to all the neighborhoods and just like cut grass everywhere. So the entrepreneur thing has always been in me. I think when I went through what I went through as a kid, that entrepreneur spirit kind of turned into like an illicit sense. I kind of was attracted to the illicit substances and products and the illegal things you could sell, and the fact that you were looking cool and like getting doing it. And for me, the biggest part was like disobeying authority because I had no trust, no respect for anybody, barely myself or any authority at all. So
Okay.
that was like a huge thing for me. But as far as like the entrepreneur thing, like I truly believe that you don't have to be born an entrepreneur. Like you do not have to be. There's like a life change you can make if you want it. But for me personally, like that's just day one. I've always had that in me,
You've
that drive,
always
that
had it in
hustle
you.
always.
Yeah, yeah. So help us figure. Well, I guess there had to be, as you said, it's in you, but there had to be a level of tenacity as well. Was the road to where you are now, as a businessman, as rocky as your life, or did things, because of that decision, did things kind of go fairly smoothly for you in that regard?
So see, one thing that we all do a lot as business owners, and like it's common, like, place like practice, and I've learned this myself, is we try to like separate our business and our personal life, like really, really strictly. What I've learned is that my business life and my personal life correlate very, very heavily. So far as so much as like a day that I'm positive and having good energy and I'm smiling, like it's almost scary. Like it's like I can feel it in my heart, like just the amount of like not just business, but like kind of like loving energy, like that translates to like value served in business comes in. So I truly believe like, and I've seen now like that working on myself, like the last 2 years, what has happened in my business has been just phenomenal. And like, yes, tenacity and grit and not giving up are key. You have to be ready for the long haul. You have to be ready to roll with the punches and take it as it comes and adapt to it. But like working on yourself, like I use YouTube and books.
Mhm.
Ralph Smart, Wayne Dyer, Joe Dispenza, Eckhart Tolle, Tim Ferriss. All these guys put a lot of good information on YouTube, positive information. For me, what I implemented about 3 years ago was like I cut out music. I started again recently listening to some more music and TV, just kind of like trying to balance things. But
Yeah.
3 years ago, I cut it out totally. And I just did nothing but feed myself these guys all day long. Because I was looking for someone to talk to. And my friends, like to be honest, like I had just called all my friends the year before that and like crying and sad because I had just gotten through a divorce and like just needed help. So I felt kind of weird almost. Like it was an internal like limitation, but I felt weird calling them. But I know I needed help. And I couldn't afford a counselor then. So I was like, what do I do? So I started feeding myself with these guys on YouTube all day long. I mean, like when I woke up in my car all day to the point where like I can almost like remember when I need to like start feeling a certain way. Like Rocky, remember that tape you listened to? Like just breathe. You're not breathing properly. Breathe for a second. Get away from everybody else. Remember yourself. Close your eyes. Connect with what's inside of you. And now I do that a lot, and it really like it's turned me into like that person that you drive by and sideswipe me, and I try to throw like a hammer at your car and run cops to like laughing and smiling and like waving at you. Like it's literally like 180-degree change.
Yes, 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 yes. And so, um, I've been talking about faith all month, just gearing up the listeners and the audience to, continue with that strength and tenacity that we've all exhibited and have been showing in this past year, Rocky. It's just been crazy, right? And so it sounds like that's what's working, what has been working with you in your journey, just that deep-seated faith and believing in the higher power, and of course, and yourself, and all of the goals that you are trying to accomplish in life. And so, I wanted to share your story because I thought, no way, there's no way, there's no way someone who has experienced what you've experienced in your short life. You're just 34 years old. My God, my God, my God. So the rest of your life indeed has to be the best of your life, Rocky. I just can't imagine experiencing that and coming out on the other side as you have. You've done a wonderful work with yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's
Yeah.
a journey. So
Yes, yes, yes. And so now you have a new love. Are you back with someone? Are you just enjoying the single life? What are you doing now?
I did the single life thing for a while, and I actually finally moved out of the place I was living with my ex-wife downtown, and I actually went to a hostel for a month, and I met my current girlfriend. We've been together for 6 months now almost, and
You're-
we just moved into a new place. So I'm sitting here. That's why I'm a little bit cold right now. I'm shaking a little bit because like the heater for some reason isn't working yet. They're like trying to fix everything.
Wait
So
a minute, you need heat in LA?
it's cold right now. I don't know if I'm feeling cold or what it is. It's just cold right now though.
You guys have so much going on right now. You have the high COVID numbers out there, those fires out there. Um, what else did I hear was going on out in LA? How are you maintaining your business and keeping yourself safe?
So business is going wonderful. For safety, I don't really have many friends in LA. Most of the people I know in LA are business acquaintances or actor acquaintances. I used to do acting, so I know them from that. So yeah, that's the only people I really know in LA. So I don't really hang out too much with them, and everyone's always traveling. So safety wise, I'm not really exposed too much. I
Okay.
do meetings in store by appointment only in my clients, and everyone's respectful to put the mask on and like and all that. So there's no like chance of too much going on anyway. So I'm doing my best I can to be safe, follow the guidelines, and the appointment thing was the big one. 'Cause I used to have lines outside. I don't want to have like people waiting in groups. So as
Yes.
long as they come in by themselves, we have a very clean, like separate entrance building. So it's working out good. And I mean, I'm blessed to say that during COVID, we've actually increased all aspects from in-store to e-commerce, well over 400% from the beginning of COVID. So I actually had time to sit down and not like just work in the business and pack air and talk to clients. I actually had time to work on the business and sit down on my laptop and build things and do things. So
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I think, because of everyone spending so much screen time, whether you're working from home or you're still going into the office, you know, people are focusing more on their look. And let's just go ahead and just put it out there. You are the owner of Hair Made in India. So you're in the hair business, and from what I'm reading, you have the good hair.
yes, ma'am. I got the 100% directly from India. I go myself actually. I set up a
Mhm.
factory out there and everything. So I'm actually a dual citizen. I'm an Indian citizen and a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
Um, so like I have a factory out there, I have land out there, bank accounts, connections. I'm back and forth a couple times a year. In the hair industry, I'll make it short and sweet. The biggest thing is you want to have someone that's connected, and that's what I do. I'm back and forth to the factories. I make sure that over time things roll properly, and that's like literally like the biggest reason for all the problems in the industry is because like the factories and manufacturers kind of get loose after a while, and there's not
Yeah.
someone staying on top of it. If you stay
Yeah.
on top of it, business runs well.
Yeah. So you're the connector.
Exactly.
You're the connector. Very good. And so, yeah, we, pandemic or not, we got to look good. You know what I mean? So I can imagine that the numbers have increased. I was just reading too. I don't know if, I guess for people who are in the alcohol industry, it is a good thing. Uh, but for those who may struggle with that, maybe not so good. But I just read a report where alcohol sales have increased in the last year.
I bet.
Oh my goodness. And there was a report a few months ago that said that the tops, the pants aren't selling as much as the tops are selling. And again, that's because of the work from home. Yes.
That's funny. That's actually funny. Because
Yeah.
nowadays I have sweatpants on now too. Usually I'm always in jeans, but like,
Yeah.
I have still sweatpants on. So
Yeah, because it's from the waist up, and of course, you got to have your hair right and all of that. So good for you. Kudos for you and on all that you have accomplished. Your story again. I thank you for reaching out and sharing that because it touched me. And I wanted to figure out some kind of way to get you on the show where it makes at a time when it made sense, and what a way to close out that faith focus that I've been on this month for people, just trying to encourage them in life and work or careers, and definitely in business. And I think your story has just put the cherry on the top for us this month, Rocky.
thank you. Honestly, I'm blessed to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to come share with you. As I said, it's a journey for me too. This helps me grow more than almost anything. I've done that stage where I've listened so much, and now I kind of got to get things out of me because all of us, and no matter if you've been to a boot camp or you've been in trouble or you even just something small with your family and parents, like there's always these trauma and these things inside of us, and I always feel like they're better out than staying in. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that that people will see this and it will be of help to them. Now, are you with a group or organization who is fighting to have these kinds of schools and places investigated? Because this should not be happening.
So it's called Breaking Code Silence. It's hashtag Breaking Code Silence. Paris Hilton's involved. A couple other celebrities that have been to these schools are involved as well as thousands of survivors across the country that have all been to these schools. Also, there's
Yeah.
a there's a bunch of people finally now that coming more because I've been writing about this for like 10 years. Like very very like slowly, like every once in a while, like as growing up, I'd put like a little something out about it, but no one ever really know what it was or talk to me about it. Or I didn't talk about it. So
Mhm.
like I'm actually like it's actually almost like in a sense like of like like you look for closure in a relationship or something like
Yes.
that. It's almost kind of like a little bit of closure to a chapter of my life that was like a long time ago that was never closed. It's kind of like okay, it's like closing now. Like I actually visited as 2 months ago with my girlfriend. We went to Mexico and went to the big four red walls in this facility I was kept in that's run down now, and paid a Mexican security guard to let us in and videotape all around there. So like I got to see I have nightmares about that place as an adult still. So seeing it now, and I haven't had one since then, like knock on wood, but like I seeing as an adult, I was just like, wow, like it's like crazy. But it was cool because in my mind it was so bigger and it was so much more scary. And it was
Yes.
a little bit freaky when I saw it, but it wasn't near as bad as it was in my mind. So
Yes. Yeah, you had to go back to that place and see it from your adult eyes now, and I guess somehow in your brain and your spirit and your soul, you get that closure and that you're able to reconcile all of your feelings. So prayerfully, you won't have those nightmares anymore. Yeah, yeah. So can people donate, or is there something that they can do to help in this effort? Are there petitions that need to be signed, or if they just go to Breaking Code Silence, that's it.
exactly. It's a hashtag, and I believe it's a website also. So if you just Google Breaking Code Silence or hashtag it into social media, you'll get a
Mhm.
ton of information. And I think yes, to all of the above as far as donations, petitions. Like, this is a new cause that has been going on for ages. That it's for our kids, right? Like, forget everything else. Like their next generation, the people coming up that are going to be, dealing with my kids, like those kids, like we want to make sure they're okay, they're good, and that's a small part that plays a long-term role. So
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's a shame that there has been this culture in society that dismisses children who are labeled bad or problem, and have kind of conditioned folks to not want to hear what they have to say because they're probably lying anyway, you know. So it's good that you have broken the code of silence and are encouraging others to do so. Again, it's just beautiful to hear that you've gotten your life on track and you're successful in business, and not only for yourself, but you are giving back to others. Did you want to just share a little bit about how folks can reach out if they feel like that you may be able to help them in business?
Definitely, definitely. So I'm very, very easy to find online. I have websites, which are my personal one with links to my blog, all the podcasts I've done, as well as all my businesses. That website is rockycandola.com, just ROCKYKANDOLA.com. If you're looking for information about the hair business, Hair Made in India, you can Google us. The website is hairmadeindia.com. You can YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. We're at Hair Made in India. We're also just came out last week with a really, really special thing that I made with my girlfriend with a lot of work into it to help out anybody looking to start a new business. It's called the Hair Business Guide. That's just hairbusinessguide.com. And I myself am on there doing like many, many hours of video talking about everything from LLC to tax preparation to sourcing vendors to selling to marketing. And more than that too as well. So yeah, I'm really easy to reach and I answer my phone directly. So get on the website, give me a call, give me a text, and reach out to me.
I think after this, Rocky, you may have to become a little incognito. You may get bum rushed with lots of calls and stuff. Now, did you say the Hair Business Guide or a Hair Business Guide?
Just Hair Business Guide, hairbusinessguide.com. Yep, and it's www.hairbusinessguide.com. That's it.
Okay. All right. The video had kind of broken up a minute when you were saying that. All right. Well, any closing words of encouragement, aspiration, inspiration that you want to share with folks before we go?
Thank you so much for having me here today. For your listeners tuning in, thank y'all so much for listening. If anything connected with you, definitely reach out, talk to us. It always helps me and you like to reach out and have that connection, that communication. And once again, if you're listening in, sending love, sending light, smile. Today's Friday or Saturday, sorry. Enjoy yourself. Saturday.
I was going to say, did I miss?
Saturday, we're in the weekend, we're clear. So today, take some time for yourself. Go out to the beach, go out to the grass, get in nature, go stand by a tree, close your eyes, put some earphones in, put some soothing songs on, no words, and just kind of connect with yourself and say hello to whoever you are today, and be blessed.
Rocky, that was a dig for us out here in the Chicagoland area. We just got a couple inches of snow earlier in the week. And now they're saying starting about 4 o'clock this afternoon, we're going to have, waking up tomorrow morning, possibly 9 inches of snow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I feel bad for you. I don't know what I would do. I would just stay inside all day long.
But the good news is we haven't had those sub-zero temperatures that we normally have in the winter. So, we've been hanging around the 30s for some weeks now, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's out of my comfort zone right there.
Listen, I'm telling you, these Chicago winters, I know you've heard about them.
Yeah, I've heard about them. It's 54 here right now, and I'm shaking. I got a jacket, sweatpants, a blanket.
See? And we would love that 54 right now. But yeah, we'll close our eyes and telepathically envision ourselves on the beach.
Sometimes if that's all you can do, it works just fine.
You're right. You are so right. Man, it's been great speaking with you. Rocky, Singh, Candola, thank you so much for stopping by the Cafe Society and inspiring us, encouraging us, sharing your story, and also giving us ways in which we can support, as you were saying, young people who may be suffering what you went through, and also putting it out there how you can help people with their business. Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
wish you much more love, light, and success.
Receiving it. Thank you.
All right. All right. You continue to enjoy this day
You
and
as well.
stay safe. Stay
You as
safe.
well. I will. Thank you so, so much.
All right, Rocky. Peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. And that, of course, was my first Zoom guest on Maryland's Cafe Society. I'm so happy to be able to bring you my guests on video so you can see them. Isn't he handsome? All right, and smart and just an overcomer. And those are the things that we need to see in life to encourage us, to inspire us to want to continue on in life, right? All right, Rocky Singh Kandola, thank you so much for stopping by the show. Well, guys, we went a little long, but that's all right. It's a good thing. I'll put some links to his guide on the notes in the YouTube comment section as well, all right? And so again, before we go, I do want to remind you guys, once again, just to support the efforts that I have taken under, and that is the Black Heroes Matter organization. They are fighting to properly recognize and honor the founding father of the city of Chicago, and that is, of course, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable. You know, those who know my story know that as a young girl, I spent some time after my family left the South. I spent some time in Chicago through my grade school years and grew up in what's known as the Bronzeville area. It was just a rich, you know, some people considered it an impoverished community. Um, Looking back through adult eyes, it was a thriving mecca of Black businesses, Black-owned businesses. Um, did the city take care of our communities in terms of street cleanings and all of that as they should, or did the community itself step up as frequently as it should to do those things? No, but nonetheless, people owned businesses, and you know, people that look like me owned their own businesses up and down the street, actually. And you know, you kind of stayed in your immediate community because everything you needed was right there. And downtown was a distant, far off place for us. But I do remember the DuSable Museum and going there numerous times, not only as a kid living there, but you know, once my family moved out of the city, you know, and into the suburbs, we would, through school field trips or summer camp activities, we would end up at the DuSable Museum some summers. And even as a young adult, going back to live in the city, you know, visiting the DuSable Museum, knowing that there was a DuSable High School bearing his name. Later in life, I found out about DuSable Harbor, and just recently learned that there is a little street somewhere. I think like in the Wacker Drive, maybe River North area, there was a little street bearing his name, a little short street bearing his name. And in recent years, there has been a bust placed on the Michigan Avenue Bridge connecting Magnificent Mile to the downtown area of Chicago. That bridge, I learned, was recently renamed, and when I say recently, like within the last 5 years or so, renamed DuSable Bridge. And then there's a bust of DuSable himself on one side of the bridge. So, you know, those are great tributes, but the Black Heroes Matter organization wants, you know, want more for him. They want a 25-foot statue placed in a visible, much more visible area in the downtown area. They want Lakeshore Drive renamed DuSable Drive, and they're also asking for the city to um, implement a holiday as opposed to a day of observance. And so those are some of the things that they're fighting for to properly honor the man who first settled in the city of Chicago and established it as a city. All right. All right. So that would be the blackheroesmatter.com. I meant to check that. I think it's .org. blackheroesmatter.org website for additional information. And as you just heard with my talk with Rocky, we are wrapping up faith, our focus on faith, and we're moving into the month of February. So we'll be focusing on love and all it means, right? February is the month of love, Valentine's Day, you know. It's also Black History Month, so we'll be taking a look at Black history as well. Okay, and we just have a few more days to practice our new word for the month of January. It was Janissary, Janissary. So I hope that it's ingrained in your brain. And we'll be introducing a new word starting next Saturday for the month of February. Okay, so get ready for that. All right, and remember, if you're a business, you have a service, a product, a brand, or something that you want to gain some additional exposure for, you can do it here at Marilyn's Cafe Society, as well as on the website, Marilyn's Cafe Society. If you're not operating with a huge budget, you can certainly become a friend of the show and to get some exposure that way as well. At any rate, or if you want to be a guest on the show, send us an email. It's producer@Maryland'sCafeSociety.com. Producer@Maryland'sCafeSociety.com. All right. All right. Well, I think that's it. I just want to remind you to check out the website, Maryland'sCafeSociety.com, and from there, you can get all the information that you want. You can also see how to connect with me socially via the social media platforms. So make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, friend, share, and do all of that good stuff on that. And that is it. We're going to take a look at what love is. And then we will wrap up the show. And love is on this day. Love is a cowboy and a cowgirl. And I would like to show it to you. A cowboy and a cowgirl. All right. And that's it. So if you don't do anything else this week, everybody, be sure that you live, you laugh, and you love. As always, it's a pleasure and a privilege to hang out with you again. Thank you to our guest, Rocky Singh Candola, for stopping by the show. And yeah, have a great week. We'll talk again on the blog, WordPress, on WordPress, Maryland's Cafe Society on WordPress by Wednesday, no later than Thursday of next week. And certainly we'll connect again here on YouTube next Saturday. Peace, everybody. Take care.